PG bloggers.
PG bloggers.
The PG bloggers.
PG bloggers.
The PG bloggers.
PG bloggers.
PG bloggers.
PG bloggers. The PG bloggers, man. The PG GOAT with the PG bloggers. Please don't say the John if you ain't saying it twice. If you don't add the Don, you ain't saying it right.
Now, wasn't Immortal Technique at the Nitty and Solomon battle?
He didn't see the battle, but he was there.
I know he was there
because Poison Pen was one of my 2+1s,
right.
And he had been running around. You know, him and Tech are close, and he was with Tech that day, and Billy Graham. You know, just their circle, and you know, Poison Pen is an asshole. He's a piece of shit, and he didn't come to the battle. I had 3 people I could put on my guest list. He was one of them,
right.
And he missed the battle.
Yeah, because a lot of people don't know that you battled Immortal Technique.
Yeah.
In an overtime battle. What was that like?
That so that was at end of the week EOW, which is like the crew open mic that I was a part of for years and still represent, and is still my family. Basically, it's the longest running weekly open mic in New York. Like, at this point, I think it's 17, 18 years of, you know, being a consistent open mic in New York and really filling the void of Lyricist Lounge and that type of stuff. And, you know, that's how I met my partner Vanguard. That was my, you know, creative partner for years and my business partner now. And, yeah, they used to do they do this thing called an MC Challenge, and now there's chapters all over the world. Like, there's chapters in I think like Germany, Spain, France, maybe England, London, I think South Africa, and Ghana maybe. Like, there's like, it's crazy. There's chapters of EOW end of the week all over, and they do this thing called the MC Challenge. That's like supposed to be. The concept is like, yo, battling like is just one chamber of being an MC, and they built a competition that's more like holistic look at what it is to be an MC, and there'll be like 5 or 6 people in the competition. You don't actually go like head to head dissing each other. It's like there's different categories, and you get points in each category. So everybody does like a, you know, over a beat, just like a 16. With punch, you know, like kind of.
Yeah,
just like
I read something about it somewhere. There's like it's like acapella.
Yeah,
and,
acapella
cipher.
rounds.
You might be
Cipher, freestyle grab bag, where you're picking items out of the bag and rhyming about them. Like, you can't see what's in there. Cipher, where you have to trade off 4 bars with the other MCs. So it's kind of like testing, like, okay, can you spit a 16 over a beat and like kill it? Can you do an acapella and still captivate the crowd? Can you freestyle with the freestyle grab bag? Oh, the other one is beat juggling, where the DJ will like change the beat up. Like, can you use different rhythms and different flows? Can you be in a cipher where you count bars and trade off the energy of another MC? And that was like a holistic competition that's not a battle. That's like, are you a really well-rounded MC? And at that time, Immortal Technique was in it, and I was in it, and it was like 2001 or something, and he was the biggest name in the competition and was like, you know, definitely expected to win, and I was nobody. And the thing about that competition is just all these judges just give you points in your different categories, and then they add the points up and announce the winner, and I won, and he was pissed, and some of the, you know, enough of the crowd agreed with him, and he's enough of a force to be like, yo, fuck that, like, I should have won, that the whole place was like behind it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so they never ever do battles there, because their whole thing is, it's not anti-battle, it's just like, you know, pro something else that's an alternative to it. And they were like, yo, we don't do this, but the energy in the room was just so much toward that they were like, fuck it, like, Tech wants to battle and have like a final round of actual head-to-head battles. And he had just won, you know, a million fucking battles. Like, he was on fire, like undefeated, you know, whatever the fuck it was, Rocksteady, Bragging Rights, like all the like most important New York battles he had won, and he was selling records. So Yeah, I mean, it was terrifying at first because I was like, this dude's going to squash me.
Yeah.
And I was so excited to win the challenge because I was like, yes, like I had been in it once already and came in second. And I just love, you know what I mean? I wanted to win that shit.
Yeah.
So, and then when he said that, I was like, fuck, like,
yeah.
hopes and dreams dashed. You know what I mean? I'm going to be second again. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, it was intense. But it was dope. It also, you know, it was kind of like a crazy moment because he's the guy. I mean, Immortal Technique.
You won, right?
I won. Yeah.
That's pretty crazy because you looked a little. I don't know. You looked a little because Immortal was
deer
rapping up
headlights.
there. Yeah. Immortal was rapping and he was.
Yeah.
You know, he had a little bit of confidence going. So
Yeah.
you came back and I think you rebutted like everything he said.
Right.
And
yeah.
you had the crowd going crazy. And I think
Yeah.
the host like cut it off like 10 seconds after you rapped.
Right,
It was going that crazy.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that must have
Yeah,
been
it
an
was
incredible moment.
Yeah, it was dope. It was dope. Because again, he's a legend. He was already pretty legendary at that time, and you know, it was like that's when I was like, oh, this is a lane. You know, like I already loved to battle, and like used to go to bragging rights and all that shit, and be in those battles. But it hadn't been like really a scene around it for a while. Like there wasn't really a lot going on aside from Scribble Jam, and there wasn't that kind of opportunity to just like jump in battles. You know?
And you said that was 01, right?
I think it was 2001. It was 2001 or 2002, but it was definitely like
It's pretty early.
early. Yeah,
So
yeah.
when's like, obviously, the Smack DVD didn't come around until early 2000s. So
Yeah, it's either like right at the beginning of when Smack was starting, or like right before that happened. You know.
Right.
Yeah.
When's the first time you started battling?
I mean,
on
I
the
was
streets, obviously.
Yeah. I mean, I was, you know, like ciphers and lunchroom shit, and then the first one that I really entered was bragging rights that they used to not Lyricist Lounge, bragging rights they used to do at Wetlands, which is a club in New York that doesn't exist anymore, but was like the dopest venue. And bragging rights was like they had 2 floors. And upstairs would be an MC battle, and then downstairs was a breakdancing battle, and it was just the shit. You know what I mean? It was just like the 90s, you know, polo, North Face, like breakdancers, you know, MCs like, you know, C-Ray's Walls and Technique and Nems and Poison Pen and you know, Super Nat and Subcon, like just the who's who of like, if you're in underground rap at that time, you're there and you're fucking dressed all the way up and you're breakdancing, and so I love that shit. That was probably the first like official battles that I was in, and that's gotta be like, you know, 97, 98, like that.
Did you win your first battle?
No, I didn't. I never won bragging rights, which I wish I had. I always made it to the top 4 out of 16, but I never made it past that.
Okay.
I was in it maybe twice, I think, and I lost the second time. I lost to Jin, and he won it,
Wow.
and that was right before he went on to 106 and all that stuff. So when I battled Jin at Fight Club, his like 3rd round, he's like telling, you know, he was like trying to take an angle to tell the story of us having battled at bragging rights.
Okay. So before these battles, were you already rapping a lot, or when's the first age you started rapping?
Yeah, I mean, you know, like my whole family is musical, and like music, I don't know if it's still this way for kids, but like music was just like the shit to everybody my age when I was, you know, as young as like 8 or 9. So like, you know, I was definitely writing raps and playing guitar when I was like 9, 10 years old, you know, and it was like, oh, I'm listening to, you know, Red Hot Chili Peppers and Nice and Smooth and Eric B. and Rakim, and then fucking Crisscross is coming out, and like, then it's like Biggie and Wu-Tang and the Beastie Boys and the Fugees, and Jimi Hendrix, and like, so, you know, all throughout being like 9 till I was like 14, I was really just into music, like in general, but playing guitar all the time, you know, rock music, hip hop, soul, old, you know, hippie music, old Delta blues, Robert Johnson, shit like that, jazz, everything. And then when I was like 14, 15, or maybe like 13, 14, 15 is when I started to really feel like hip hop was the way that all of that stuff came together. Where like everything that I liked about every one of those genres could be present in hip hop, and it was like 36 Chambers and The Score were like the two albums for me that were like, yo, like this is so weird and soulful and kind of rock in the way it's edgy and weird and just so dope and like feels like the attitude that speaks to me. You know what I mean? Like the thing about rock is like you can't just like dress up like Jimi Hendrix and be on the street and shit. You know what I mean? Like at least not in New York, which wasn't the wave. And so the thing, like with hip hop, it just felt like this is our everyday. Like the way that I go to school, and the way that I ride the train, and the way that I, you know, hang on to the joint when I'm on the train, and the way that I tie my shoes. It just felt like, oh, everything comes together. Started to take it seriously, and yeah, like 14, 15, started making beats and writing songs and recording music and shit like that.